Hello friends and welcome back to another one-on-one video on guiding tech, and today in the ring we have the Lenovo Vibe K4 Note and the Zenfone Max. We would be running the benchmarks and apps to look at the speed and performance of both the devices and how they perform against each other, and then finally take a look at the memory management. So let's get started and have a look. So first of all, we'll see if there are no recent apps in the background. And on the right I have the Asus Zenfone Max, and on the left I have the Lenovo Vibe K4 Note, and we'll just go ahead and fire up the N2 benchmarks and then take a look at the benchmark readings. Now we will be looking at how the 3D performance is on both the devices, and later on have a look at the device specifications and how they stand against one another. So let's just wait for the video rendering to start, and it started on the Asus Zenfone Max before the Lenovo K4 Note. But if you look closely, the video rendering on the K4 Note is actually smoother than the Asus Zenfone Max, and to be very frank, it's actually lagging a lot on the Asus Zenfone Max when compared to the Lenovo Vibe K4. So that was regarding the video rendering detail. So in the meanwhile, while the test is running in the background, why don't we take a look at the specifications of both the devices really quick. The Asus Zenfone Max is powered by Qualcomm Snapdragon 410 quad-core processor clocked at 1.2 GHz and an Adreno 306 GPU. It has just 2 GB of RAM, and I know it's on a lower side. But right now, moving on to the storage, it has 16 GB of internal storage with the expandable slot wherein you can put in an SD card of 64 GB. The display is a high-definition 5.5 inch at 267 ppi and a Corning Gorilla Glass 4 protection on that. The rear camera is 13 megapixels and the front-facing shooter is 5 megapixels, and all that is powered by a huge battery of 5000 mAh. Lenovo Vibe K4 Note is powered by a MediaTek MT6753 octa-core processor clocked at 1.3 GHz and a Mali T720 MP3 GPU. The device has 3 GB of RAM and a 16 GB of internal storage, which is expandable up to 128 gigs using a micro SD card. Now talking about the display, it has a 5.5 inch HD display with a 401 ppi and a Corning Gorilla Glass 3 protection. The rear camera is 13 megapixel while the front-facing shooter is 5 megapixel, and to power that all up, you have a battery of 3300 mAh, which is non-removable. So finally, we have the N2 results in front of us, and the Zenfone Max is 22,389 and the K4 Note is 38,188, and the Zenfone Max is actually below average when compared to the the K4 Note. Now let me just kill both the apps and then launch the Geekbench 3, and then we'll just go ahead and run the benchmarks. Now while this benchmark is running, I just want to inform you that we have already done a detailed review of the gaming performance of both the K4 Note and the Zenfone Max, and you can click on the links that you see on the top right hand side to have a look. So for now, let's just fast forward the video and directly end up with the Geekbench results. So again, the K4 Note is a winner when compared to the Zenfone Max and the Geekbench 3, and both the single core and the multi-core score are higher on the K4 Note. So let me just go ahead and just go ahead and kill it, and then we'll start with the app. So first of all, we'll launch the service server. So both of them had the splash screen at the very same moment. So let me just go ahead and wait for them to load the particular game. And the loading started on the K4 Note prior to the Zenfone Max. It's taking a bit of a time on both the devices, but the K4 Note managed to load it faster, and then after a few seconds it was the Zenfone Max. Now let me just go ahead and launch Twitter, and again the K4 Note loaded it faster, quite faster than the Zenfone Max. So let me just go again to our home page, and this time it's the Facebook. And okay, sorry about that, just kill it. So let me launch again. and it was the same time for both of them, so it was a very close one. And moving on to the YouTube, and the K4 Note again open it prior to the Zenfone Max, and this one is the Asphalt Nitro. Okay, the loading started on the it's quite fast on the K4 Note when compared for the Zenfone Max. Now it's logging into the Google account, so let me just go ahead and skip that and go again to the home page, and then we'll go ahead and launch the Play Store. And yet again, the K4 Note is the faster one. So next, going with the camera, and this is the default camera that comes in both the devices, and K4 Note loads it faster again when compared to the Zenfone Max. So I guess the K4 Note is actually better with the scores, and again better with the benchmark scores, and also in loading the applications. So let me just go ahead and open up Chrome and then try to open up some websites, and as always the very first website that we'll open would be the Guiding Tech. That's our home page. So let me just go ahead and open up the bookmark, and it's just easy to tap on the bookmarks than writing it. So Guiding Tech opening up on both of them, and K4 Note loads it faster, again just a fraction of a second, but yes, it's faster on the K4 Note. And then going again to the bookmarks, and this time we'll open up Verge, because there are a lot of elements and it's a good test that I believe. So the element starts to load faster on the K4 Note, but okay, and waiting for it, and the entire page loads faster again on the K4 Note, and both of them are connected to the same Wi-Fi connection in my office, that is the ACT 100 Mbps. Now it's time for some multitasking test, and the K4 Note has the service buffer in the memory, while the Zenfone Max has to load it again. And one thing to note here is that the Zenfone Max has just 2 GB of RAM, while the K4 Note has 3 GB. But the second app, Twitter, and I mean both of them had it in the memory. And this time let's go ahead and launch the Asphalt Nitro. And it takes time for the Zenfone Max to launch the game, but again you'll have to see that it's loading. So I would give, as far as my views are concerned, the K4 Note is faster than the Zenfone Max, and you can also watch the gaming performance of both the devices, and I'll be providing the links in the video description. So that was the one-on-one of both the Zenfone Max alongside the K4 Note. Do let me know your views regarding the video. If you have any doubts, please do ask me in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. This was Ashish from Guiding Tech signing off. Have a good day and take care.